Brazil had a lot to offer this last weekend. A lot happened.
It was an interesting weekend all around. It was a chaotic weekend all around.
It was a chaotic weekend. What was your initial thought what was your impression now that the weekend's over, done and dusted? We're looking back in hindsight. What's your big impression you're walking away with?
Ooh, good question. Probably the biggest takeaway I have right now is I am not sure how much longer Marc Marquez is going to race.
Ooh, that's your big takeaway.
Yeah. I mean, if you add in all of the pieces together of the puzzle together, I don't know how much longer Marc's going to race.
I mean, I definitely see where you're coming from. And so I feel a little vindicated with Dija. I've always been a fan of him. And not only did he finish in front of Marc Marquez, we were talking about this, he beat Marc Marquez.
Yeah.
Like they're on the same bikes, the same track, the same conditions. He outrode him.
Yeah.
And you could see Marc was favoring his one elbow. I think he's still recovering.
Mm-hmm. And I think what we watched was a timid Marc Marquez. If you can even put those words together, I think that's what we saw this weekend was a Marc who was so focused on not injuring himself or hurting the injury worse than it already is, that it was affecting his ability to ride. Now, granted, the guy still scored a lot of points this round, right?
But I think to your point, what I think I could infer from your statement is he came into this season thinking, since it's the last year of the 1000s, the development's not what it's been in the past, that perhaps he came into this season thinking the guy who makes the least mistakes is going to walk away with the championship. And there's a lot of people going for it and who are taking big risks and big chances.
Yeah.
And he's almost on his back foot.
Now, I'm not trying to say that I actually, even given the results of Brazil, I still would say Marc is the odds-on favorite for the championship. I still would say that.
Yeah, I would agree. We've only seen two tracks that favor the dominant bike.
Yep.
Next weekend, we're going to be in Coda. That's his...
Coda will tell us a lot.
Right. That's his track. It's counterclockwise. That's how all tracks in America seem to run. Both of our tracks run that way.
Yeah, it's America. We turn left. That's what we do
turn
here.
left. Yeah. He's always been dominant there.
Yeah.
That could potentially level the playing field with how Aprilia's dominance.
But you would also look at that track and say, actually, there's a lot of parts to that track, which I think the Aprilia is tailor-made for.
Yeah.
Right? The whole, if you think about Coda, we're already talking about Coda, we're not even done with Brazil, but once you get through the first corner at the top of the hill in Coda and you go down the hill and then through that S's section, the Aprilias are going to set the fastest sector times there, for sure.
Aprilias are good at left-right transitions. They're really good they're a front-end bike.
Yep. But getting into the corners well, getting out of the corners well, dealing with, left-hand corners, frankly, like that's where Marc is going to show up and make the difference. And I think he's still the more racer at heart. It will also be the first time where we kind of go back to normal Michelin tires, right? Because
we were on an asymmetric front. I didn't know we had an asymmetric front.
They made them for a while, and then nobody liked them, so they quit running them. But that Brazil track, and let's talk about more of the track itself. That track is very unique. So when I first looked at the track before the race weekend, it is 2.2 miles, 2.1 miles, something like that. It's a very tight track. Only Sachsenring in Germany is actually a shorter length.
Right.
But basically that Brazil track, it's like our East track.
It's very similar. It claimed 14 corners, but if you look at the map, I don't agree with how they're counting corners.
Some of those are kinks at best.
Well, and some of them are one turn, and you're like, that's one turn. Yeah. That is not three turns. So it made it and it was a fast-flowing track. They were carrying high speeds.
Yeah.
So, we're so afraid of these short tracks, they turn into go-kart tracks. The Brazil configuration, I thought, was really good.
It actually looked, if you just go watch an onboard, there was an onboard that they did on the kind of the lead up on Friday, I think it was, and I think it was a Honda, it might have been Mir, but somebody did an onboard full lap.
Oh, I saw an onboard from Jorge
Oh, it was Hort. You're right. It was Martin,
Yeah.
not Mir. Martin. But yeah, I saw a full lap of the track, and I thought, this track looks like a riot.
It looks like a gas. Good elevation, long straightaway, float.
I'd love to ride here.
Stupid kinks. I freaking hate kinks.
Yeah.
Didn't have them. Well, I had the one. It does have the one.
But it was just it had a really great kind of flow to it. I just thought it was a fun track. The problem, maybe a good riding track and an okay racing track, because it really only offered up kind of one or maybe two real passing zones.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it was like, if the guy's in front, if he's got track position, there's not much you can do about it.
Do you want to know my big takeaway after the weekend? Is they're saying they're getting rid of Phillip Island because the facilities aren't fancy enough.
Yep.
And then we go here, and there's sinkholes. The track is crumbling into gravel. The podium looked like it was an afterthought. Like, there were so many things about this track that were. Our track has significantly better facilities than this one, and they're like some like Dorna or Smegma or whatever it's called now. Smeg? What is it called? It's
MotoGP Sporting something.
whatever.
Yeah.
But like they're like, oh yeah, and okay. And let's maybe step back on this a second. On our Patreon, we have an individual from Australia who has been going to Phillip Island for years. His insight was fantastic on Phillip Island. And he's like, for a spectator, it can be miserable. It's cold, it's wet, you're just standing there. There's no way to get out of the wind. So it kind of justified maybe they're not entirely wrong on Phillip Island. The facilities aren't there. Maybe not necessarily for the racing standpoint, but for the fans. But it was hard to, in the back of my mind, think Phillip Island is going away, space regardless, like not anti-Brazil, but this facility was a little lacking.
I don't disagree. I think the facility definitely, it's not Sepang, it's not Coda, it's not one of these level of facilities. But part of me kind of loves that MotoGP is still willing to go to a place that isn't Coda, that isn't Spa, that isn't Saudi Arabia, that isn't one of these over-the-top, absurd, multi-billion-dollar endeavors. And it really is like, let's go bring bike racing to bike people, which is Brazil.
Well, yeah.
Like that,
and I can't argue with that on that at all.
So in that sense, one of my favorite parts, if you go, a lot of times in the kind of the lead up to the race, if I'm not watching it live, I kind of speed up. Let's get going. Let's watch the race. And I skip the little preamble stuff.
What? I love the pregame show.
I can't watch all of it. Well,
the dancing went on a little long this time. The dancing was a long
That's the stuff
number.
that I'll skip, is all the whatever. I'm like, get to the race. But at Brazil, when the riders were on the grid, it sounded like a soccer stadium in Brazil.
It was incredible. Whenever Marc Marquez passed anybody, the roar, even like the announcers, like, I hope you can hear us because we can't hear us. They couldn't hear each other.
That's one thing that the culture of South America, Brazil, but all these other places that are these like hardcore soccer, football fans for them, that is a part of their culture, is being epic, fans. They're really good fans of things. Now, sometimes they're way overboard with some stuff, but they're fans. They're way into stuff, right? They're on the fanatic end of fans, right? But I love that. I love going to imagine here. So that's the part I love about MotoGP is we're willing to go to a place that is for the fans and for the people. And
fostering a new audience, right? We have the new Brazilian racer who really held his stuff together in front of his fans. He was wearing the Ayrton Senna replica helmet. There were Ayrton Senna flags everywhere. And shout out to one of our local longtime supporters, Ricardo, if you're listening. He's from Sao Paulo, right? And I was thinking about him all weekend. Yeah. It's very telling.
But I love the idea of going to a place where it is, these people are nuts. They love it. They can't wait to have a chance to watch a race. And then when the race happens, they show up, right? Whereas you go look at most Formula One tracks, go look at the fans at Monaco. Give me a break, right?
Yeah.
It's a bunch of yacht owners
and
with champagne and like
Instagram influencers, YouTubers, freaking YouTubers.
Those are not fans of the sport. Like I could care less what that audience thinks of the event.
Agreed.
So
agreed.
I'm a big fan of the fact that they went somewhere where they were like, these are dedicated. These are fans. They want to be here for the bike race.
Yeah, and on that regard, I would love to see them maybe hit Brazil as well, right? Or not Brazil, Rio de Janeiro, which has the Formula One track, right? Like, let's do 2 rounds while we're down there. Obviously, I think there's enough population and fan base to fill 2 stadiums. Yeah, and less flying, right?
Well, and I mean, there's some issues that they have, like Argentina. They have, so there's always a balance of some of these areas do have issues with effectively corruption. It's hard to say it a different way. It's corruption. The teams and the people that have to travel for the circus of MotoGP would regularly talk about basically getting raked over the coals on everything you try to do in Argentina when they would go there for the race. And again, I'm not saying anything bad about Argentina or the people. It's just, this is the culture of how these things happen down there sometimes. So I understand maybe we don't want to have like, they don't want to do everything there, but Latin America in general, I love the culture and the fandom of whatever they're into. Man, they're all the way in. They love whatever the thing is.
You've visited some South American countries, haven't you?
Yeah.
I remember a time I was down there and like I'm on a motorcycle tour and I was on a V-Strom 650 and on this tight little mountain road. And some like little kid in shorts, no shirt, on some like Honda Super Cub, baloney skin tires, that kid schooled me. Right? Like there's a lot of talent, like there's the culture down there, there's this aptitude for these things. And I feel we're losing so many great potential athletes just because the opportunities aren't there. So by MotoGP going into these places, I really want to hope we're going to open up some doors for some amazing talent to get into this sport.
And there, on that, there's a Latin Cup for mini GPs. They've got their own Latin series. I'm blanking on the name of it. I've known a few folks who've gone and raced at the events. And again, it's the same thing. The culture down there, the people, they're into it. They want to do it. So I love that they went to Brazil. Yes, the track had some shortcomings. They paved it very late, kind of at the 11th hour to get it going. They were unfortunate with weather. Right. They got annihilated with rain.
Well, a week before too, right? So the sinkhole and then the lack of adhesion. I don't know if you were on Instagram and saw
the track coming apart.
Bruises on the guy's arms or their hands. They were saying they were getting peppered by rocks. So, I think about that. Like, I think Marc Marquez or one of them said it was like riding on a dirt road.
Yep.
The skill of these riders to do what they were doing on a surface like that.
I don't like that these riders were getting pelted with rocks. Obviously, that doesn't feel good. But this same weekend was a U.S. hard enduro event here down in Page. These guys are getting like beat to death just to do the course. They don't bitch and moan. Right? Like,
well, I don't think any of these guys bitched and moaned.
I saw a couple of their posts of like kind of bitching and moaning.
Because I'm thinking of Jorge and Bez riding back on the golf cart.
Yeah.
And they're just giggling and laughing.
Yeah.
But maybe they were at the front, so they were getting pelted less.
Yeah. So, again, I'm not saying that, tracks falling apart is acceptable. It's not acceptable. That's not what this sport is. This is not dirt bikes. But it's like, sometimes conditions are going to be tough and it's going to hurt a little bit. But it's the riders who would complain like, this is unfair or whatever. Like, it looked to me like everybody else was on the same track.
Right.
So if Bez can rip off lap times like he could, and so could Martin, and what
are they saying? He's won he's led the last 150 laps of MotoGP or something like that.
Of all the Grand Prix I think he's up to 4 now. I think in the Grand Prix itself, he's led from like flag to flag.
And I think I saw a stat that he's now in only 4 other riders have won 4 MotoGPs in a row or something like that.
Oh, that might be true. I don't know.
We keep talking like, he's not an alien. He's not an alien. I've been a Bez fan for a long time. So to see him having this kind of success, and I keep arguing, he's not an alien. He's working to earn it. maybe he is an alien. Maybe he just needed some time to grow or whatever, or he needed the right atmosphere because Aprilia changed their team lead, the team manager, like in 2022? Okay, right.
2020.
And Aprilia, that was the big shift. Like they went to the 90-degree V4, like they made a bunch of big changes. And I'm excited. Like I'm really stoked by what's going on to have like another bike challenging Ducati potentially.
It does seem to be that Aprilia team is the most, they're the factory team, but they're the most privateer feeling factory team there is. Right? It's very family-ish. Everyone eats dinner together. They all laugh. Like it's very warm.
Well, you've seen like the posts coming out of Bez. Like they're joking. They have inside jokes. It would be the team I would want to be on.
For sure.
And so my other big thought is I'm sitting here watching this, right? And like Jorge Martinez going to Yamaha. Presumably.
Yeah, unofficially. But yeah, I had the exact same thought. He gets into second and starts clicking off laps and leaving the Ducatis for dead. And I was like,
Meanwhile,
fool.
like Quartararo had like a pretty decent first part of the sprint. We're like, wow. But I think that was Quartararo. That wasn't the motorcycle.
100%.
And like, oh, this is the last year we're going to see Martin. Like, what were you thinking?
What's interesting is, so we all predicted, everyone, not us, everyone predicted that all these contracts, so many of these were going to be signed, delivered basically before the season began, before the first round. None of them have. None of them have come out really.
Right.
Right. It just goes back to the point we said this, but others have said this too. Whoever, like your top rider in the series is the first domino.
Yeah. Marquez. And once Marquez signs.
Once he signs, then I think it's in quick succession. They're all going to lock up their seats. But I think right now they're literally waiting because Marc hasn't signed and everyone's like, I'm not signing anything until I know for sure what's happening with him. And the teams are saying the same thing.
And like nobody wait, we don't test the 850s until May? Is that the first?
The first time the riders get to test them, yes.
I wonder if that's going to be the big linchpin that he's going to look around. Because I'll bet you right now, if I'm Marc Marquez right now, and I'm looking across the field, and I'm looking at what may happen, I want to go to Aprilia.
So for those of you guys watching, obviously these get posted on YouTube, and we're trying to, you want to draw the largest attention you can for audiences. If you want, we call that clickbait, right? You make some sort of absurd thing that just draws people in.
And you can rage on it all you want. It works.
It's what YouTube is all about.
You got to play the game.
If we need a clickbait title for this episode, it is, will Marc Marquez retire?
Right. Because is he done? Is he finished? Yeah.
I would have said before this season, after the shoulder injury initially, I would have said, no, for sure he's going to come back. The dude had his arm cut in half and he still came back, right?
But I've been saying the opposite. I've been saying that last year might be the last year of Marc Marquez because of that injury.
I don't know that this year is like, I am not 100% certain that he will actually have a 2027 contract at this rate. And
it's like, not that nobody wants him, but does he
all want him?
Right. That he's finished. Like he came back, he proved the unprovable. The guy is awesome. Yeah. Like no disrespect for the man.
Yeah.
And it's like, does he need more money? Do you know what I mean? Like he could come back as like, I'm done. I'm going to like be a team lead, or I'm going to start my school, or whatever he wants to do.
In my opinion right now, if you could say, hey, Marc, here's the deal. If you sign this paper over here, you're going to win the 2026 World Championship and get your 10th World Championship. You'll unequivocally have beaten Rossi at this point.
Right.
So we can finally put it to bed. But you're done riding at that point. I bet he takes it.
Are you paying attention to his socials at all? So a lot of this stuff is coming a little sideways. So like we've done a bunch of work with Alpine Stars recently. So the Alpine Stars feed is hitting my Instagram feed more frequently. Yeah. I swear 2/3 of Marc Marquez posts are him playing with his dog.
Yeah.
On the right. And I'm like, dude, like win if you want to win. Go hang out with your gorgeous wife and your dog if that's what you want to do.
I don't think he's married yet. I think it's his girlfriend.
Whatever. Like They're
But
together.
again, just like Honda, I'm sure she'd sign if the offer was available right now.
For sure, right? And it's like, like it's different in Europe. Marriage is less of a thing.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
kids these days, marriage is less of a thing. And no criticism,
Sure,
right?
yeah.
Like, but he seems so happy, like in his backfield of his whatever estate, and he's hanging out with this little brown border collie thing that he rescued, which is the most charming thing you've seen in a long time. I wish him the best, whatever he chooses to do.
Well, and if he was just coming to the races to support Alex, like I can picture that in my mind already.
Oh, you can. That's a good movie plot line.
Oh, yeah. So anyway, I don't know if you heard it here first. I don't know if this is for sure happening, but just watching how this season is playing out right now, I'm positive he's got thoughts in the back of his mind of, do I want another contract?
And do I really want to keep doing this? Like, do I really need to keep? He doesn't need to. He's proved.
Yeah.
What?
Like I said, other than getting the 10th World Championship, I don't think he's got a thing left to prove.
I don't want to put words in anybody's mouth, but Marc Marquez, based on his character and every interview I've seen or other people talking about him, I don't know if I think he seems emotionally more stable than to have to get that 10th to beat Rossi. Like, if he's satisfied, I think he could just step back and be happy as a clam.
I don't think he won't be happy, but I think just from afar, getting the last punch in this fight is, I think that matters.
Well, and let's go back to like your original statement.
Yeah.
He's still the favorite to win this year. We're only 2 rounds in. Yeah.
So I think once we get to more normal tracks, hopefully his shoulder comes back to him.
I hope so. Yeah.
And I hope this theory is completely wrong in a month.
It's just podcast fuel.
And he's already signed, and he's rocking and rolling again. He's going to be totally fine. Because I would also love to go see him be, the best rider in the past era, in this era, and then in the next era. I would love to see him succeed in all these different forms. I won't be shocked if we get another 3 rounds in and he still hasn't signed, and suddenly it's like, I think this is it. I think this is the last season.
Because for as many fans that are out there that I'm watching Marc to see, I just want to see Marc succeed. There's another fan who's like, racing is boring because I'm tired of watching the same guy win all the time. And so there's pros and cons to both, right?
But I would I don't think you could watch the fight at round 1 in Thailand that he had with Acosta.
That was so good.
Or the fight he's had with Digia this round, in the sprint and in the Grand Prix, and think, oh, how boring.
Right.
What do you want?
If you think MotoGP is boring, you're not paying attention.
What do you want from this sport?
It's not NASCAR. You're not going to see, did you see that slow motion clip of Marquez coming up the inside of Digia and
on him?
Snagged the airbag in his suit and pulled the sleeve taut? Holy cow. That slow motion shot was so good we all missed the pass. Well, it was so cool.
In that shot, so both bikes are coming toward the camera in that shot. Digia he's leaning against his fairing. He can absolutely see Marc's bike right
he knows
here.
he's there. Yeah.
Everything about it, he's not flinching at all.
It's so cool.
Right? Marc is all the way committed. He can feel Digia on his outside. He knows he's touching him. They were unfazed. And I think we talked about this on maybe last or the previous episode. In racing, contact does happen.
Right.
Right now, I'm not saying I've had that epic of a slow motion shot or something, but contact happens. You bump and you touch and whatever. But it's usually it's fine. It's not a hit. You're not knocking somebody off track.
Right. And not to cut you off, but to compare this to the last one that was contentious. In this situation where Marquez and Digia were passing really close, Marc held his line. He made the corner. He didn't run wide. So to me, this kind of contact is the epitome of beautiful racing where he ran wide and pushed him off track. But anyway, go back to your point.
This is what makes MotoGP the best motorsport in the world, is this type of stuff. It's not only, and I'm positive there's somebody listening right now that's like, the hell you say, BSB is better, World Super, whatever. I'm not disagreeing that those races are also amazing.
Yeah.
What's different is MotoGP captures the moment better.
Yeah, because they have the money. And so you're getting the what is it, 2,400 frames per second or whatever obscene thing those things are shooting. Like you see, it's the big show.
That's why I think, not that BSB racing is amazing, World Superbike racing can be amazing.
WRC is amazing, but WRC is dying while F1 is still going.
But the fact how MotoGP, and I will credit Dorna massively here, they push the envelope of how to produce a racing product for the spectator.
Yes.
To such a, like, literally every other sport and motorsport can learn from them.
I completely agree.
They do such a good job.
Yeah, like and even if we're not even talking about the race anymore, but like their the rules to help smaller teams be competitive. What was it? Not contingency.
Concessions.
The concessions. The concessions made for great racing. Yeah. And it's like, like what we love about this sport is like, it's easy to love one person and want them to succeed above everybody else, the Bears or the Yankees or whatever. But what's beautiful about motorsport is every one of these guys, every manufacturer, I want to see them succeed. Yeah. Right? It's this plot of stories where I want everybody to win, and that's so unique. You know, it's not a zero-sum game. Basically, every race is a win on some level because I'm stoked that Aprilia got the front. I'm stoked that Dija beat Marquez. I'm stoked that Marquez was, you know what I mean? Like, that's fantastic.
We had a comment on an episode or two ago. Someone was like, "Oh, I'd love to hear you guys talk about Formula One." I'll tell you right now, we are never going to do a Formula One podcast.
I watched Drive to Survive.
Because we just don't know enough. I don't have enough information to give you that's useful, that you wouldn't be like, he doesn't know what he's talking about.
And like, I think the reason why you pay attention to Formula One and the way I do is just the technical advancements are fascinating.
And that's maybe the thing. So I think there's a fear. So this year we're watching Formula One go through their phase change of
they're a year ahead of us, basically.
Technical rules, right? They went to a new power unit set of rules. They went to different car structures, and it is producing races with way more passing than in the past. In the past few years, the races have tons of passing now, but it's kind of nonsensical. And even Max Verstappen, who went at kind of great lengths to poke fun at, to the point where he's kind of getting himself in some trouble with Formula One.
Oh, really?
The reality, though, is he's the one who probably gets to get away with it because
he's
what are you going to do? Kick him out?
Yeah, he's the Marc Marquez.
So I think, but he referred to it as Mario Kart, which is funny because it's very, like, the passes are very artificial and kind of gimmicky, and you make the pass because you push the special button and you used up your battery, and now you don't have battery, and the next guy passed you back, and it's very kind of fake and nonsense. We aren't going to see that same thing in MotoGP, thankfully. We don't have a group of people that is trying to tweak the rules in order to keep the manufacturers happy for what they care to develop and for what they care to show off. Because in Formula One, all the manufacturers are pushing hybrid systems because that's what they sell. All their cars are hybrids. That's what they're pushing for.
It makes the most sense in the future.
And so they're pushing for basically they want the amount of power being, I'm hyper simplifying this. So I know F1 fans don't kill me for this one, but they basically are trying to control how much power is delivered to the tires via the internal combustion engine or the battery system, right? The reality is, and why that is so artificial and so nonsense, is ultimately all of the energy is coming from the fuel, no matter what you do. Right? Yes, the battery stores a bit of energy for a little while, but you deplete it very quickly in Formula One right now. But they're trying to create this like racing version of a hybrid system, whereas a hybrid in your stop and go traffic makes tons of sense actually for what it can do. It recoups power and so forth. It's like effectively kind of free energy recouping for normal people. But in racing, it's very artificial now. Because you sort of, I got to pull power from this storage unit, and now I have to fill up this storage unit because the rules say that's how the power has to get to the tires. It's very artificial. It's very nonsense. We have none of that coming next year. So if you're watching F1 right now and you're a little nervous about 27 MotoGP feeling nonsense like this, it won't. It isn't that. That's not what we're doing.
Yeah, we can't predict if the 850s are going to be better racing than the 1000s. History tells us the 800s were not a great era for MotoGP, but I think we can safely say that next year on the 850s, it will be incredibly interesting because we've thrown the deck of cards into the air.
Yep.
Everything is changing, and it's going to be fun racing. It's going to be unpredictable. And if you like a story where you don't know how it's going to resolve, I mean, this year's already doing it.
Yeah.
Imagine what next year is going to do.
I'm looking forward to it mostly because some of the technology that is damaging the racing, like the ride height devices, the crazy over-the-top aero, and frankly, the Michelin tires, those are going away.
Right.
Right. And we're getting a Pirelli tire, which I'm not going to say Pirelli and Michelin, one's better, one's worse.
But it's going to be a lot of arguments over it.
Well, and historically, the Pirelli is a better racing tire because the front's very good, the rear's very good. It's a very balanced package. And the tires do degrade. Degrade, thank you. Lost the word.
Degrade.
They degrade over time. So you're going to actually see tire strategy coming back into this more so again, which I think is a fun part.
I agree.
Of these longer races.
Strategy. Like the strategy is, and who can predict? I mean, that's what made Marquez so fun over the years was his ability to foresee and to strategize.
Yeah.
Idea. Like, remember last year when he just was watching the clock and then ran into the pits to get the other bike? And everyone's like, we don't know what the rule is. He didn't know what the rule was. And then they had to clarify the rule.
He thought he knew the rule, but
yeah, but it was like, but it makes for good story,
Yeah.
right? And I think we shouldn't lose sight. You know, sometimes it's easy, like with racing and following the rules and whatever and cheating and whatever. It's racing is story.
Yeah.
And you know, you don't want to see somebody get an unfair shake. You want the protagonist and the antagonist of whoever you think those people are in your worldview of racing. But we're really paying attention because of the story. And that's where I think MotoGP delivers where no other race series can. And, you know, yeah, the sprint races, we've got some amazing feedback on how to like fix qualifying or shift qualifying to make that a little bit more fair. But we're here for the story.
Yeah, for sure. So this weekend is COTA. It's one of my favorite weekends.
Right. I'm not going to be there, but our good friend Mike is going to be there.
Well, I know we have several folks that are going to be down there, I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Mike's going to be down there, but there's a whole group. It's
I
always
was
a fun
hoping
round.
I was going to make it this year. It didn't come together. Oh, well.
Next year.
Maybe next year. I've been saying that for years. I've never made it to COTA.
Make sure you check it out. It should be a fun race.
There's going to be a lot of cowboy hats.
There's going to be a lot of Red Bull cowboy hats. Any other MotoGP stuff you want to cover today?
No, I think we've really covered MotoGP. I'm like, we're 2 rounds in. It's easy to make predictions, but if you really know what's going on, the first 2 rounds don't really tell us a whole lot.
Especially these two.
Yeah. Other than Bez is exceeding all expectations, and if we were doing the fantasy league, which I don't do the fantasy league because it takes the joy out of racing for me, I'm on Team Bez. I just want to see him succeed all year.
This is so funny. So Dave and I have gone back and forth on this. We've had multiple people reach out to us and assume that we're doing fantasy league because we're way into MotoGP. Neither of us do the fantasy league. I did it for a few years. Maybe you had the same
But
experience.
then you start rooting for like you to win and not them to win.
It kind of ruined it for me because
yeah.
I am the worst person for sports betting. I don't want it actually ruins the sport for me. I don't want a sports bet.
Right. To me, again, it's the story, right?
Yeah.
Like I want the surprise. You know, it's a little side analogy is I went to go see Once Upon a Time in Hollywood in a theater that allowed alcohol.
Mm-hmm.
And I was not at all familiar with the historical relevance of that movie. Like I didn't know that there was like a real thing behind it. So I'm going in completely blind. And I've had 2 beers. And so like I'm a little relaxed. It was the most joyful theatrical experience of my life because I didn't know what was happening. And the crowd is cheering and roaring and laughing. And my wife's next to me going like, that's not what actually happened. I'm like, any of this actually happened kind of a thing. And that's what MotoGP should be, going in blind with no expectation, just like open yourself to the experience.
Yep.
Yeah. But that's motorcycling. Open yourself up to the experience.
Speaking of being open to new experiences, Dave, tell me about your adventures on the Honda this week.
Right. The NC750X is probably going away.
This is its farewell episode.
Well, maybe. Like, we don't know how long it's going to take for them to come pick it up. I've already talked to Honda. They're going to come get it. The video is basically done. It'll probably drop the same day that this podcast drops. So go check out the NC750X. There was an incredible, unpredictable moment, and this is 100% true, that happened whilst filming the review of this NC750X.
So if you're listening right now and you're looking at this NC750 and you're going, I could care less about NC750, that's understandable. It might not be your thing.
No, it's I don't know how many people in our audience this bike is your thing. There's more value in this bike than I realized when I took it in.
Right.
I don't know if it's my motorcycle, but I think it's the motorcycle for a lot of people. I really do. Yep. That's not the point of this story.
So anyway, I don't want to ruin it. I don't want to ruin it. Go ahead.
No. Like, this is 100% true. Typically, I ride the bike around. I get initial thoughts, initial feedbacks. I write it down, whatever. I think about it. I do research, blah, 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 all the things. And then once I feel like I have a good feel of what the bike is, I spend a lot of time on the script. And then I go up to pretty places to try to, and I joke about, I need to do my monologuing, right? Because there's like that Pixar, like, you caught me monologuing again, right? Because it's just kind of idiotic if you were to look at it from the outside perspective. I pull up to a pretty place, I put the motorcycle next to me, and I stand there and I talk to my camera
about my motorcycle. If you were a hiker and you saw this, you'd think he was insane.
Right. Well, and that's usually the joke I say to people, because when I was in California, nobody gives you like a second look. Everybody's doing this. But in Utah, if I'm standing there monologuing, anybody who sees me will stop to chat. Right? Because they're like, what are you doing? And my response is, I just like talking to myself. I just like talking to my camera, just but anyway, so like I pull into like, it's kind of an empty campground because it's spring. I wanted to go someplace where there was snow because I thought that would make it like a little bit more unique. And I'm sitting there doing the monologuing, and this like little gray SUV goes down the canyon road. That's like on the other side of some trees. And it goes by and I hear like this, and it looks like I thought their brakes were squealing, and it looks like they threw their bag of like Taco Bell fast food trash, like a brown paper bag full of trash. They slowed down and lobbed it out the window. And I was like, people suck.
Yep.
Right? And then I go back to, and you can even see like in the video footage, I like, back to monologuing, right? Like you can see. And then I just kept monologuing. And then I finished up. I was done with my little thing. And I heard this meow, meow, like really stressed meowing. And this little brown kitten comes like walking from where this thing transpired. Like I saw the bag like hit the snow and kind of bounce and whatever. And I was like, people suck and whatever. It wasn't a brown paper bag of trash. It was a kitten, like a 10-week-old kitten. And I'm horrified by this, right? And so, like, I don't know what to do. Like, I'm up here. There's no cell coverage. I can't, like, call Mrs. Canyon Chasers to come get the car. And I'm sitting here, like, I have the camera. I have the tripod. I have all this crap with me. And now I have a kitten. And it's, 9,000 feet where it happened? Like, it was at Spruce's campground?
Well, and so the reality, if you're not familiar with this terrain where Dave was at for this part, you basically had to bring the cat somewhere, because if you had left it overnight, it was dead.
Oh no, it was a death sentence.
So it was not going to survive.
Yeah, you're like at, I think 8,000 feet or something of elevation. It's cold. It still freezes at night, and it's a little cat. There's like you're adjacent to congressionally designated wilderness area. There's bears, there's foxes, there's wolves.
It's not going to make it.
Yeah, it's not going to make the night. If it does make the night, it won't make it 2 nights, kind of a thing. And the cat's really friendly, comes right up to me, lets me pick him up, kind of a thing. And I'm like,
now what do I do?
What do I do? Well, my camera bag that I use is basically a hip pack. So I can strap it to my hip pack. I'm wearing my airbag vest underneath my coat. But the NC750X
The party trick.
It has a frunk. It has this. It's not a gas tank. It's a storage place for your
kitten.
For your kitten, as it turns out. So I clip the camera around my waist. I turn off my airbag and stuff my camera into my coat because the cat wouldn't fit in the coat, right? But I could get the camera into the coat and it was like hanging out the front. Don't fall, right? And I brought the cat down. Now Honda says that the frunk is watertight, but does that mean it's airtight?
There's a seal on there.
There is a seal on it. And I was like, this would be the most horrible story in the world, right? So I'm literally like every 3 or 4 minutes, I pull over, stop, turn the bike off, pop the key in, and I would look in there, and this little cat's just sitting in there in the frunk, in the dark, braced himself in there, and he would look up at me, and he's like, oh, and I would just close it, go another like 5 or 6 miles or whatever, pop it open. He seemed fine, and got him home. I got the cat home to the house.
So this whole thing happened. The night that this happened, we went to another Dave's, Mango's house for a barbecue. And you brought over this cat.
So there is a rule that you never give a living creature as a gift. And I stick fervently to this rule. But this dear friend of ours, Dave is the greatest dude in the world. He's super gifted athlete, rides motorcycles with us. Well, his cat of like, was it like 18, 19 years?
A million years.
Yeah, it was like he's had this cat forever. Suddenly got like some sort of like, I think it was cancer or something or leukemia.
It was just time.
And just like died suddenly. And he's been heartbroken about it. And like really kind of struggling with it. And like it's been like 3 or 4 months since the cat passed away. And as I'm riding down, like, you're still alive. You're still alive. I'm like, I think this is Dave's cat.
Yeah.
Right. So we were all going over there for dinner anyway. And we got here in the garage and we had like it was like a Trader Joe's shopping bag. And the cat just like jumps. I'm not making any of this up. I promise you. Jumps into the Trader Joe's bag. We brought like an extra little tin of kitty litter and an extra kitty litter tray because I didn't know like what he got rid of. The cat gets in the car and is just looking out the window, happy as a clam as we drive over to Dave's house, gets out of and we're like, Dave, I'm either bringing you the best or the worst gift possible. You don't have to say yes, but like, let me tell you the story. And like Dave and this cat just bonded.
Fast friends.
Like immediately. Yeah. Like within 10 minutes, they were sitting on the couch watching hockey. Like it was like you were there for it was the cat just completely, this is my person. And so like an incredible story. Maybe long-winded, but like
No. This is what the podcast is for. Right? I love that this is like a wildly personal story, frankly, in context of what we do. I think this is great. It will I'm sure there's a few photos playing as we talked about this.
Yeah, or like there's like maybe a 45-second summary of what happened in the review of the NC. You can see we got all active with our claymation and we did
you got way more of the story here than you will get on the other video.
Right, because I did like we did a little reenactment of a little cartoon cat kind of a thing. This is like what actually happened, sort of a thing.
But impossible without the NC.
Impossible without that. And Honda, like I sent it to Honda, and I was like, I emailed Honda. I was like, hey, do you happen to have any video assets to just help like spruce up this video? Oh, and by the way, this happened.
Yeah.
And the person I deal with at Honda, Madison, she's amazing. Apparently, she took the photos and like it went all over Honda corporate. Honda like got on the Instagram post, engaged with this whole thing. Honda like it really went further than I could have ever predicted.
So the 2027 version of the NC750 is going to have a clear plastic cover with air
a bubble
holes.
So the cat can look out.
Yeah, with air holes in it so he can hang out and it'll be these are going to sell like crazy next year.
As kitty rescue motorcycles. Right.
Yeah, I'm excited. I think you've solved the problem of what's this bike for.
Yeah, we've really we added a feature to the NC750X that Honda didn't even anticipate.
It's for cat transport.
It's cat transport. Yeah, it's for the cat. What do they call it? The cat distribution network. That, that you should never go buy a cat, because if you want a cat will find you.
Show up.
I mean, that's what happened to us. We weren't looking for a cat. We just ended up with one.
Speaking of manufacturers, tell me what's going on with Yamaha, Dave.
All right, so next week, this is really exciting. Mm-hmm. Next week, I am going to be going back to California to test the brand new 2026, 2027. I don't know.
Is it this year or next year's model?
I think it's this year's model, if I'm being honest with you.
We've obviously done the research.
The Yamaha R7. Yep. And you're like, oh, yeah, the R7. Now, I can't tell you much. We were just going through all the tech briefing before we sat down. Everything's under embargo. I can't tell you anything until April 2nd. They changed more on that bike than I realized. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of exciting.
There's a handful. I mean, at the end of the day, this is still a mid-tier, no, I don't want to say budget, but it's an affordable bike.
It's a middleweight sport bike.
Yeah, it's built for a target audience, right? But there was a few things in the tech. Ironically, all of the information you could possibly want is in this shot right now.
Right. It's sitting there on the folder right there. The amount of Yamaha really over-delivered with the research and the tech analysis of what they're doing for the new R7. It's exciting.
I showed up this evening to have a drink and talk about MotoGP with Dave, and he made me sit through a 40-page PowerPoint.
It's 40 pages. It's 40 pages.
The R7.
It's 40 pages. Now, the bike looks exactly the same. So if you hop onto Yamaha's website right now and you just kind of go through, you're like, oh yeah, it looks like bold new graphics, right?
I think exactly the same is unfair.
There's two really pretty colors, right? You get the
new color is really pretty. I like
yellow wheel color.
Yeah.
I'm a sucker for that red and white Champions edition, but there's a lot of stuff going on behind the covers that I'm really excited.
There's a couple new tech features that are pretty darn slick that, well, obviously they're going to expand to the other models at some point, but there's a few that are pretty slick.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, Yamaha did their research on who's buying this bike, and I think they're, based on the tech analysis, they've really listened to you, and they're making a bike for you, which is really exciting.
As we were going through this, so in the PowerPoint presentation, I thought I was supposed to buy a timeshare by the end. That's how long this PowerPoint
40 pages. I'm not kidding.
But the part of it, the Yamaha shared information about basically what models get sold, and the volumes of what gets sold. And it's impressive how important the R7 is.
Right.
Right. It gets sold in high volume. It makes a big difference.
Who's buying the R7? I'm excited to talk about that.
Yeah.
Who's actually buying it?
But in the context of that, I think we focus on the flagships or the Halo products all the time because that's the bleeding edge of whatever's coming next typically. But the R7, it's more like the Honda Rebel in the sense that it is probably the more impactful bike, right? It makes a bigger difference in the grand scheme of things.
I think middleweights, and we've talked about this on earlier podcasts too, that if I throw the word middleweight into a title, that video is almost guaranteed to do well. I think that's what the world is.
That'll be the clickbait for this.
Maybe we'll do middleweight. Marquez's middleweight mistake. Retirement.
Marquez rides an R7. That's what we'll write.
But I mean, it's already been announced that the R7 engine is going to be the platform.
I think unofficially, but it's basically known. It's probably one of the worst kept secrets that I think 28 is the plan. The Moto3 category is going to switch over and just use I forget what they have a name for, CP2 or something like that.
Right.
They have a moniker for it, but
which makes sense, right? Because they've been GP3 has been 2 strokes, and that doesn't really translate into Moto2.
Well, it hasn't been 2 strokes; it's been 250 singles.
That's what it is.
Yeah, 250. Right. It was way back when 125s,
okay.
But the 250 single, part of the problem that MotoGP has is that 250 single is a great learning platform, but the jump from that to a Moto2 bike, which is a 850 triple. Now, whatever's the triumph.
Oh, is that what it is? 796 or whatever, 896?
896, something like that. That thing's huge. It's a monster. So that jump is catching out a lot of riders right now.
Right.
And so they need the steps to be more gradual.
Well, especially if you figure a lot of these kids are probably coming through the KTM Cup with their 390s. right?
Well,
And
they're I mean, regardless, like, so my nephew who's 12, he rides an Ovale he has a GP7. It's an Ovale 250. And that's like a Moto 4 type bike. So it's like a step down from what the Moto 3 is performance wise. But the Moto 3 bike is not significantly bigger. It is a little bit more powerful, but it's not a full-size bike. If you or I sat on his GP7, you'd be like, wow, this is little. They're very compact, very, very slim. They're meant for young kids as they're kind of growing up. The problem is, and those are great bikes, but the problem is that jump is just so massive.
Yeah, it's a huge gap, right?
So
yeah.
I think the R7 in that ilk of bike is perfect for that kind of stepping stone before you get into those bigger engines.
Completely agree. I think it's going to feed the whole process better.
Yeah.
You know, like the way the world is, you know, like parallel twin, 700cc, whatever, reasonable power.
Yeah.
Parallel twins are great for like power delivery, flat torque curves. There's a lot to be learned there before you jump to the Moto 2s,
Yep.
which are pretty freaking quick, and then MotoGP, which is impossible to even comprehend.
The cool thing with this R7, just in the bit that you showed, it's the things that, and I don't know if we've talked about this here before, but it's hopefully it's understood. There are certain things, I think we all see all the electronic aids and rider aids and stuff that are coming out, and you're like, oh, it kind of ruins it. The cool thing about those is software is the thing where the price can come down quickly.
Right.
Right. And now you are talking, I don't want to say entry level, but like kind of the middleweight bike, a fairly affordable bike. I don't know what these things cost even, but fairly affordable bike that has massively sophisticated electronics that are RSV4s from 2019. They're not that old even.
Right.
Can't keep up with.
No, like we were looking at what the IMU is going to do on this new R7.
Phenomenal stuff.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot going on in there. And there is a very tangible safety benefit to that. And there's a very tangible, I mean, look, let's be honest. You go do your first track day or you start riding in the canyons or whatever, and you have like some weird solvable problem that results in a fall, you might walk away from the sport in either context. And if a little electronic aid can kind of help you like soften that learning curve, I am not critical of that. I get really tired of I had to learn the hard way, you need to learn the hard way. And it's like, we're in a different world. In this packet that they sent us, they were showing us the numbers of all motorcycle sales up until 2008 and then post 2008.
Oh yeah.
And
Which
it
was staggering actually.
It's more dramatic than I would have thought.
Yeah.
And it's like, we can't keep thinking in this whole pre-2008 world. We're not there anymore.
It's not 2006 right now.
It's not 2006. Yeah.
It is crazy. And I'm sure when you actually can produce a video in April 2nd or whatever, when this can come out.
Releases. Yeah.
It isn't that the sales dropped. The sales fell off a cliff.
Yeah, it's precipitous.
Not really recovered. They're nowhere near where they were. They've come back a bit, but they're not what they were.
Again, we can't like share anything, but the bike that superseded the bike, you wouldn't believe.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You know, like it's really interesting stuff.
So anyway, I'm excited about this R7. I still contest, and I've had people, you can argue with me if you want. I think of the lineup of R bikes, the R7 is actually the best looking one. I think the front end and the tail are the best looking.
It looks, you know,
the lineup.
I get the comments from people, you know, who come through the channel. There is still a really strong desire for a super bike looking super bike. And I think the R7 delivers on that, you know, like the people who want a sport bike.
Yeah.
Who want you know, there's this whole like mystique behind the Ninja, you know, and I'm not quirking on the Ninja at all, but like I think to some people they say Ninja, but what they actually mean in their brain is just a sport bike.
Right.
You know, and I agree. I think the R7 is a doll. It's a good looking motorcycle. And I'm biased because my very first sport bike, like back in the day, I cashed in a little bit of my GI Bill and a little bit of my student loan, and I bought an FZR 600. Which is probably the the FZR 600 was not an analog to the R6. That bike was a powerhouse.
Yeah.
The R7 is the closest thing to my original FZR 600. It was my do-all motorcycle. It was, I toured on it. I did track days on it. I commuted to school on it.
So you head out this week. Willow Springs? Or where are you going? I forget.
It's a street ride. We're not even going to be riding on the track.
Oh,
so
okay.
I don't have to bring my speed onesie. I'm a little happy about not having to bring the speed romper.
It's just being street gear.
I'll be in street gear, yeah.
So that's this week, but you can't talk about it until April.
Till April 2nd. And if you guys are interested, we could do a deep dive on the podcast. I think there's enough in that 40-page PowerPoint. And based on what I experienced there, we could really go deep on this. I just think what the IMU is going to be capable of could potentially be an interesting discussion.
So yeah, let us know in the comments. If the R7 is an interesting bike to you, I think we could absolutely talk about that for quite a while. I think it's interesting to dissect some of these things.
Well, and they gave us cool graphics and stuff like that when I'll be able to show
you a ton of information.
So much.
I'm teasing it, but they gave you a ton of information.
Yeah, well, I wish other manufacturers would be this complete with the amount of information they gave me. It was really exciting to go through that. And, like for me personally, it makes life easier for me because it's hard when I walk up for a bike review and I'm completely blind and I have to try to come up with something clever to say on the spot. Right. And this is really great to have all this information to think about and process before I sit down there so I can be more critical, if we're being honest. Oh, they said this, it doesn't do it.
So I think we're all kind of looking forward to that, David. It's exciting to see and
we're all excited to be riding. It's spring.
Yeah, it is spring. Suddenly you're going to California to look at new helmets. Now you're going to go look at new bikes.
I know. I've ridden a lot this winter. This has been a busy winter for me. I think I've ridden more miles this year in California than I have in my own home state.
But speaking of that ride in your home state, we have our first Apex Track Day, April 11th.
Yeah.
Pretty excited about that. I think we'll be on East Track.
Maybe we should talk about this. If you are local or if you're not local, we touch on this all the time, the value of track days. I think we even got a couple questions on the clips that we uploaded today or this week. Mm-hmm. People saying oh, I don't have gear. I don't have...
Yeah. It was interesting to hear the reasons why people aren't coming to the track day. Apex, but other track days. So if you're not here in Utah, obviously most of you are not here in Utah. Wherever you're at, though, most track day companies do a good job of supporting brand new track day riders. They desperately want you to come out and try it. So oftentimes your first track day with them is cheaper. A lot of them have gear to rent or loan you for free. You do not need any kind of fancy bike. Whatever you got is fine. If it's in working order and you got decent tires and brakes, come on out. There's nothing really stopping you. But yeah, we'd love to see everybody come out and, we love it when the days are sold out. It's better for everybody. It makes for a good event, but yeah, it's that time of year. Let's make it happen.
It sounds funny, but you would think, oh, I want to go there. It's not like Disneyland, right? The number of slots are capped at a certain number. It's not like Disneyland where once it's filled to capacity, it's kind of miserable to be on the track. Ironically, when it comes to motorcycles, to a certain extent, when you have the right number of bikes out there, it makes it more fun. If you're a slower rider, you're going to be able to latch on to someone who's a little quicker and pick things up, and if you are quicker, it's really fun to go out there and get some turns in with your buddies or someone who's really comparable to your skill set. There's a lot to be learned from that.
I'll add a little bit. So I was actually at the track this weekend.
That's right. You were putting up the air fence.
I missed watching the Brazil race live because of this. That's how much I love people that get to go to the racetrack with us.
Well, and pay attention to your local community. I know Colorado just did theirs. We just did ours. We do a big event every spring to try to encourage people to come out to the track. We do a big 2-3 hour. The track day companies come out, I come out, you come out, the race organizations come out, and we all talk about what it is to ride on the track. I'm going to call out a commenter who's I'm not going to go ride on the track. I just take the license plate off my motorcycle and I just go ride really fast on public roads. Please don't do that.
There was several comments.
There was a handful. I've been doing this for a lot of years. I don't know what that video title did that brought in some of these comments. It's such a bad idea. And I'm not being judging because I like going fast.
Yep.
But your exposure to risk is so profound.
Well, and I'm a very big believer in personal freedom, but also personal consequences. And if you make choices that lead to outcomes for yourself, that was on you. My concern with those problems is you are on the public road with the public. That's my bigger concern.
When you hurt somebody else, then
not
it's
okay.
We're on a different, you show up to a track day and everybody kind of agrees, all right, we're all going to really go fast in the same direction. And there's an etiquette there that we go into detail when you show up. But on public roads, like I remember going on street rides and watching a guy and he'd come behind a car and at the very last second, he'd snap out to a pass, pass the mirror of this poor car on a millimeters and dive right in front of their headlight, and the car freaked out. And then we all stopped at like a little burger joint down the street and the car pulled in and it was like a 70-something-year-old lady.
Yeah.
And you're like, dude.
She's terrified. Yeah.
She's terrified. And she's like, are you guys okay? I thought something was wrong. And you're like, you are like now the biggest dillweed on the road, Like it's just be considerate to your fellow human. I know it's not in vogue right now, but like,
But we were at the racetrack this past week and we were setting up all the air fence. So really quick, just thanks to all the people who came out to help us. It is a big task. It's a whole bunch of air fence that we set up and we got it all set up so we're safe when we go out and race.
If you haven't done a track day and you're paying attention to this, you love MotoGP and you want to like this is one of the beautiful things about track. Air fence are like these big giant, they're bags with styrofoam and big empty space and voids on them that you put on any hard surface. So should anything go awry, like should something go so sideways that you end up on one of these hard surfaces, it's like this big giant pillow designed to catch a motorcycle and a rider.
It's like an Alpine Stars airbag vest, except it's 2 meters thick.
Right.
And it's just waiting for you at the corner of the track.
And it protects your motorcycle too, right? We had, what was one of the comments we got today that blew my mind? He's like, I'm not going to wear an airbag vest because if I crash into a grove of trees at 120 miles an hour, it won't make a difference. And you're like, I'm not going to brush my teeth because if I get hit in the face with a baseball bat, all my teeth are going to fall out anyway. And like, I just had a hard time reconciling that logic,
But yeah, so I think we're all excited. Spring is here. It's like t-shirt weather outside for us here in Utah. So hopefully it's getting nice wherever you're at. But yeah, it's time to go ride. I'm excited.
Or if you're in Australia, I'm sorry, the weather's getting crappy where you're at. But like,
bundle up,
dig out the galoshes and the mucklucks.
Yeah,
I don't think it ever gets that cold in Australia, does it?
I have no
maybe
idea.
Down in Tasmania. Maybe. Let us know if you're in Australia. Tell us what your weather's like. So,
yeah,
it's always fun.
If you've made it this far and you've listened to us rambling the last couple of minutes here, if you haven't already, just click the little subscribe button on YouTube. That does help us. It doesn't make you have to listen to us any more often, but it does help the algorithm find us a little easier for other folks. So,
yeah, and we have Patreon where I'm trying to put all sorts of. We have a bonus episode that I can't believe we forgot to talk about the bonus episode.
Good, we could fill in the last 10 minutes of crap
the last few minutes. If you're on Patreon, now if you're not on Patreon, you'll get this eventually. But if you're on Patreon, we found and we interviewed Norman Hossack. And Norman Hossack, he developed a lot of the non-traditional front ends on motorcycle. He had you still see Hossack front ends on Gold Wings. Mm-hmm. But there was a whole series of time in the Matt Oxley raced one of the original Hossack race bikes. Mm-hmm. Uses parallelograms and all sorts of crazy linkage on the front of the bike.
Arguably, BMW's telelever stole ideas from Hossack.
Yeah, right. And that's been kind of the prevailing thought for a long time that BMW invited him to come over, asked him what he was doing, and then like within 2 years the telelever came out.
Yeah.
But again, it was a really fascinating, especially if you're into that really analytical stuff. It's going to be for Patreon members only for about 2 weeks, and then it'll go live, I think, to the rest of you folks. So if you want it, like Patreon, we're trying to do special stuff for our Patreon members.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. That was a fun conversation. He's an engineer's engineer at heart. He is very much into the engineering side of what he does.
Yeah, to entice you a little bit further, like the guy was working Formula One, got excited about motorcycles, raced motorcycles for a little while, built this bike. Matt Oxley and a lot of these guys in the UK were racing it. Then he designed a completely crazy idea for military motorcycles.
Yeah.
And then, as a typical engineer does, he moved over to robotic surgical arms. Really interesting fellow.
But yeah, check that one out. If you're not on Patreon, get yourself on Patreon so you can go check that out. So anything else this week?
No, I think that was a fun episode. Let us know what you thought. What could we do better? What do you not like hearing about? We're here for you.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Have a good week.
See you next week.